Making a game takes longer than you think. Why was RDR2 in development for so long? Even with a huge team and bottomless budget, Rockstar still needed a full decade. Block out on the level to check the scale and flow, then modeling everything to replace the white box, blueprints, AI, lighting, and endless playtests. And bad planning could mean redoing everything from scratch. It could easily take a few months. But now I type a man walking in the mountains, and here it is, a playable level. This is Genie 3, a new AI that creates interactive worlds from your text. Holy hell, the devs are shitting their pants. It seems like game development will never be the same. Are we going to lose our jobs? Or maybe we won't? Let's find out. I'm Viktor Kozlovsky, a game developer with 9 years of experience. So, what does Genie's arrival mean for those who make games? Before Genie 3, you would need an entire team and a couple months of work to create something like this. But now you can make it almost immediate. Let's talk a little about how Genie works. Genie can make playable environments with consistent physics, character movement, and basic game mechanics. You sketch a rough scene, and a few seconds later you can walk around them, interact with objects, change the weather, or drop in a new character. It's all powered by a technology called diffusion-based generation, where the AI paints the world layer by layer, starting from a pure noise and gradually shaping it into a detailed, coherent scene. So, what does Genie's arrival mean for those who make games? Will it replace developers? Or is it just a new evolution of tools? If you thought it's too good to be true, you are right. What's the issue with Genie 3 right now? Currently it can render 720p and only be consistent for a minute, but it's not the main issue with AI in game development. On our pet project, my friend and I spent 2 months trying to nail down a right mix of styles in Midjourney, and we still had to polish the results by hand in Photoshop. Same story with the 3D models spit out by the AI tool. At best, we ended up with a rough placeholder, useful only so you are not starting from scratch. And if you are doing a historical project, let's say Kingdom Come Deliverance, and you need something very specific, Midjourney won't help. AI doesn't distinguish historical accuracy from pop culture. Ask it for a water from a particular culture and era, and at best you'll get a stereotype. So, if it can't get The Last of Us from a prompt, it might be useless, right? And we can count down about our jobs, right? Well, not really. When I worked on documentaries as a cinematographer, the camera didn't shoot a perfect scene for me. What mattered was the knowledge of how to tell a story, how to frame and illuminate it. Today everyone has a 4K camera in their pocket, but Netflix still pays millions to directors. It's the same story with Genie. It can create jumping mechanics, but it doesn't know why the player should jump, and doesn't understand what emotions to evoke at a specific moment. Jumping is not about moving up or avoiding obstacles. It's about creating tension and release, building anticipation, and engaging players' emotions. For example, if the player has to jump over lava, the fear of falling and losing progress. This triggers adrenaline and focus. Or maybe jumping is used to reach a hidden treasure, making you curious and excited about rewards. Sometimes jumps match the music or story beats, making it feel powerful or heroic. Good game design knows that mechanics are tools to provoke emotions like fear, excitement, relief and curiosity. Without understanding this, a jump is just an isolated action with no purpose. To get the right result from a neural network, you need to know exactly what you want. Genie can replicate the physics of jumping, but can't intuitively design the emotional stakes or context that make that jump meaningful for a player. Even if you don't have a specific goal and scan through the AI's results, you should understand how to identify diamonds among pebbles. Ask Midjourney to make a cinematic portrait and you'll get a boring result that looks exactly like many thousands pictures on the internet. Ask it to use a specific lens, camera settings, mention different types of aberrations, upload some composition and mood references from your favorite movies, and the result will be completely different. The difference between a novice and an expert using AI would be still in how they use this tool. Prompts, iterations, and the ability to recognize when something works. An experienced game designer can guide the AI through thousands of iterations, each one informed by years of understanding player psychology. For instance, when designing a puzzle, a beginner might ask the AI to generate a tricky obstacle. An expert, however, will guide the AI to create obstacles that balance challenge and reward, considering how frustration can either motivate or discourage players. They might iterate thousands of times, tweaking the difficulty curve, timing, or hints, ensuring the puzzle creates a satisfying sense of accomplishment rather than annoyance. That is the difference between AI slop games and an expert using AI as a tool. There is another example from cinematography. 30 years ago, filmmaking required lots of time and money, hiring the crew, renting the equipment, buying film stock, then a few months of audio and video editing. Today, school kids make short films on their phones using TikTok. And you know what? The industry and good movies are still there. Moreover, there are people who still shoot on film. With the digital era, Photoshop was supposed to kill the artists, and digital cameras were supposed to kill cinematographers. The industry changes, but people who solve real problems remain in demand, and with new technologies come new challenges. AI wouldn't redesign your pipeline to suit skills of the team or the specifics of your project style. It won't balance the difficulty of your game, so the players keep playing it after level 4 while preserving the desirable level of frustration. These questions still require human insight into players' behavior, market trends, and creative problem solving. When I moved from films to game development, the most valuable thing wasn't technical knowledge, but the skill to see how visual decisions affects players' emotions. AI can help you to visualize your ideas, but making a final product, that is still a job for humans, fortunately. What should we do in this situation? In my opinion, as human beings, we can still learn and explore, and with AI we can do it even faster than before. Find something you are good at and develop it. At some point you could try learning different disciplines. Your expertise in visual art or music won't disappear if you try game design. One of the strongest cinema directors had an artist, cinematographer, or any other background. Kubrick was a photographer, Takeshi Kitano was a comedian. If you learn Unreal Engine, there is still a demand for both specialists and generalists. Become an expert in environment design or combat systems. With the knowledge and expertise, you are able to spot when the AI misunderstands your intent and guide it back on track. You become something like a supervisor. But let's suppose that in 10-15 years, Genie really can learn how to create GTA 7 with a single click. Does that mean the end of the industry? If we could automate such a hard task as game development, then everything else will be automated as well. Banking, logistics, manufacturing, maybe even healthcare and government administration with some success. This will be the world described by science fiction writers, where the basic needs are met automatically, where you won't need to worry about your landlord or having a job, but it less likely happens in our lifetime. Almost forgot, if you want to level up in game dev or to get some expertise for your project, feel free to visit my website and join my Discord. See you there.